Hello, and how's everyone doing today? Welcome to the channel if you're new, and if you're a returning viewer, I'm glad to have you back. I haven't done a Justin Talks Games video in quite a long time. It's been a month since the last one, but to be honest, there hasn't been much to talk about. Resident Evil 8 has been completely silent. They showed us the trailer, obviously, and then they showed us a second trailer, which still didn't really say much. So, didn't really give us anything to go on. They told us they were going to talk about Resident Evil 8 at the Tokyo Game Show, and they did a little bit, but they didn't say anything new. They told us the same thing that they said on the developer message, and the same thing on their website and all that. Nothing new at all. So basically, nothing new for Resident Evil 8 whatsoever. And even to today, whenever this gets uploaded, still nothing new at all. What we are going to talk about, though, is Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition. Now, obviously I'm still going to get it when I get the PS5. Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition comes out alongside the PS5, but I won't be getting the PS5 until next year sometime. So, because I need that for Resident Evil 8, which I will definitely be doing on the channel, so that's going to be pretty fun. But PS4 users get Vergil as a DLC. It was supposed to come out in November, a week after Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition came out. But for whatever reason, well, I know the reason, basically it comes down to marketing. Vergil was supposed to come out in November, a week after PS5 and Special Edition came out, and they decided to push the DLC for PS4 users and the Xbox users over to December 15th instead of November 15th. So that's kind of annoying. But we'll get into Vergil in a moment. So Special Edition is basically everything that the regular 5 is. Devil May Cry 5, I mean. There's only a couple of differences, not very many actually, to be honest. There's Legendary Dark Knight mode, which that was in Devil May Cry 4. I think the enemies are Son of Sparta difficulty, which is really cool. So it doesn't make it too hard. But there's like half of the enemies, like more. I'm not saying it right, but basically there's 50 times the enemies. So like, say a room has like 10 enemies or something, right? You gotta fight a bunch of enemies and there's like 10 guys. Son of Sparta, or sorry, in Dark Knight mode, there's gonna be like 20 enemies. Or there's gonna be like 30 or 40. Like, it severely ramps up the amount of enemies that you have. So that's going to be fun. PS4 and Xbox and PC do not get Dark Knight mode. I can understand the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox not getting it because of the engine and the PS4 not probably being able to render that many enemies at a time. So I understand that. It's kind of strange that PC is not getting it though. The Special Edition is also getting ray tracing, in which that is, it's so you can see reflections of enemies and stuff. Example is like, say, in, I think it's, what mission is it? Mission 1, 2, I think it's mission 3 with Nero. Where you're in this abandoned part of town and you're walking through. And it looks like it just finished raining, so there's water and puddles and stuff all over the ground. What ray tracing will do is, and they showed this in the trailer and whatnot, you'll be able to see the reflections of whatever character you're playing as, and also the enemies and all the movements and everything. You'll be able to see the reflections in like the glass windows, or like the puddles and the water on the ground and all that kind of stuff. It's really interesting what they can do. There's something kind of like that in Resident Evil Remake, and this is way back in the GameCube when it first came out. Very interesting stuff. Um, all the enemies and characters had what is it called? It's basically like it's not like pre-recorded or anything. It's not a video. It's all like live movement. So if you walked in front of a mirror or something, you would see Chris or Jill moving in the mirror. If you saw if a zombie walked up to you, you'd be able to see a zombie in the mirror and stuff. It's really interesting, really cool stuff. There's actually, not to get off topic, there's actually a mode in Resident Evil Remake called Invisible Enemy Mode. Now, I beat this, but I did it many years ago on the GameCube. I haven't done it yet on the PS4 version yet. Basically, what it is there's no auto aim. The character doesn't automatically aim onto it, and you can only see them if they grab onto you. If they grab onto you and they attack you, if I can't talk, sorry. If they grab you and they attack you, they briefly become visible, and then once they stop their attack animation and you get off of them, they go back invisible again. You can see them in mirrors and stuff, so that's one way of seeing them. But you really got to play by sound. But I just wanted to touch on the mirrors and stuff like that. Like, it's all live. It's all, I don't know the wording for it. But it's really interesting to see how far we've come from something like that. Right? And within certain sections, the whole game was like that. So, like, if there's a mirror in a room or a mirror in a hallway or like something like that, you could see Chris or Jill walk past the mirror, and the reflection would be there. Same with enemies and stuff. And it's just really interesting how far we've come from that. I mean, that was 2001 is when Resident Evil 1 remake came out. To compared to now, like 19 years later or something like that. I don't know. To have like reflections on everything now, like the puddles on the ground and like reflections off like windows, and it's all these cool, interesting things. It's really cool how far we've come from little things like that. Like I said, with remake where it started, to now where like it's almost like it's realistic now, where like you can see through almost everything. It's really interesting. So the things I want to touch about on Vergil, because to be honest, those are the only two things, extra modes that are on special edition mode. You have the main game like you would have, and you got Dark Knight mode. Dark Knight mode is not going to be a DLC. It's going to be strictly new consoles. Dark Knight mode is also not coming to PC, which is very strange to me. I don't understand it, because PC could handle Dark Knight no problem. So I really don't understand that. And the ray tracing and Vergil. So you got three to four things that's about it. Vergil is going, like I said earlier in the video, Vergil is going to be a DLC on his own. I was excited about it. I thought it was like, oh, Vergil's coming, it's going to be really cool. All these new moves, speculating, all that cool kind of stuff. But you see, he does have a few new moves and a few new things, which are pretty interesting, but we'll get to that. But overall, he's basically Devil May Cry 3 and Devil May Cry 4 all over again. There's no extra story mode. I kind of saw that coming, because that's kind of Capcom tradition. When it comes to Vergil, they do kind of screw him a bit. So he doesn't have his own story. He's probably going to have a starting video and an ending video, because they did that with Devil May Cry 4. He had a starting video where he was like walking into town for Fortuna, and demons dropped, and he started attacking all these demons and stuff. And by the end of it, he put his cloak back on and he walked through town. And at the end of Devil May Cry 4, he was walking out of town, and his shadow was it looked kind of like his Devil Trigger, but it was a bit different. But anyway, I can't remember exactly what it said, but it's basically implied that something, I think it was either Nero or Devil May Cry 3 events, I can't remember. It's something, it's been a while since I've played 4 special with Vergil, like the story mode. Um, Same thing with Devil May Cry 3 Special Edition. Vergil had a starting video and an ending video. The rest of the game was all Dante's story. Vergil's opening, he is in the library of the Timina group. I hope I'm saying that correctly. And he's reading a book, and Arkham comes up to him. And I forget what book he's looking for. He's looking for a specific book. But that's about it. And the ending, his special ending, is pretty cool. It basically it foreshadows number 1. I like that. So he falls off the edge of the basically the end of 3. Both Dante and Vergil, they're fighting in hell, and Dante is going to kill Vergil because of power and blah 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 and all that kind of stuff. Basically, Dante realizes his humanity, and and he wants to actually stop him. In the beginning of the game, he didn't really care. He's like, whatever. But at the end of it, he's basically like understanding about humanity and stuff, and he really does care by the end. So they're fighting in hell, and Vergil's kind of damaged. He's kind of weak because he gets defeated by Dante. So at the end of the game, Vergil sacrifices himself. He lets himself fall off the edge because they're on this kind of like what would you call it? I can't think of it's like a waterfall almost, but it's like in hell. It's like a waterfall in hell. That's all I can really think. Anyway, so they're fighting on this waterfall, and like I said, Vergil and Dante, they charge at each other, and Vergil lifts up the force edge so he doesn't hit Dante because he doesn't want to kill him. He doesn't want to hurt his brother. Because I think Vergil slowly realizes during that fight, like at the end of it, he's like, maybe I really shouldn't. So when he lifts up Force Edge, and they're both running at each other, and Dante's rebellion connects with Vergil and hurts him pretty bad. So he falls off the edge, and to sacrifice himself because only one of them can get out of hell. Because the portal's closing. So Vergil's like, Dante, go. Dante tries to save him, but he slashes his hand with Yamato. Anyway, long story short, he falls down, and then, that's it. So Vergil's ending is basically like a special ending. So if you beat the game with Vergil, what happens is after that fight, after it falls, you see Vergil, and he's standing up, and like it's middle of like a pool of like blood, river, whatever, and he stands up. He's still pretty hurt, but he stands up, and he has Yamato in one hand, and he has Yamato in his hand. Anyway, and he looks up at the sky or whatever, and he sees 3 red orbs. And those 3 red orbs is Mundus. And Mundus, sees Vergil. So basically, Vergil says, if my father is, what does he say? It'd be fun to fight with the Prince of Darkness. If my father can do it, I can do it too. And he unsheaths Yamato, and he's running. Now, there's a little hidden message to that. There's 2 little hidden messages to this thing, which I really like. And I know I'm kind of going off topic for a second, but I'll go back on track in a minute. There's 2 things I really like about that ending. One, it hints that he fights Mundus and becomes Nilo Angelo. There's a second little thing. A lot of people don't really notice. I've seen some comments. I'm on we've got Devil May Cry group on Facebook. And a couple other people have noticed it too, but not very many. Um, Now, when Virgil starts running toward Mundus, he throws the sheath away, and he's running just with Yamato alone. Now, apparently, back in the day, samurais and stuff, when when they threw their sheath to the ground and they ran to battle with just their sword, apparently they knew they were not coming back. They knew it was a fight, that they were going to die. They knew they were not going to come back from that fight. So Virgil knew something bad was going to happen, but he was going to go fight anyway, which also hints to Michelangelo. So I thought it was a really cool thing. But going back on track, that was a little long. It seems that that's what's going to happen in Devil May Cry 5. It seems like Virgil's going to get a starting video, an ending video, and everything in between is going to be all of Nero's, V's, and Dante's levels. So it's a little disappointing that they're going to do the same thing. Now, mind you, they gave him a couple of songs, extra songs, because you can change the soundtrack in Devil May Cry 5 for those who haven't played it. Now, you can change the character battle music. So, like, for example, like Dante, he has Subhuman, that's his main one. But if you wanted to, if there's, there's downloadable songs that you can download. I should say that first. They don't come with the game. If you pre-ordered the game, the special edition, not special edition, sorry, the deluxe edition, or if you just pre-ordered it in general, which I did, you get a bunch of songs that you can choose for fighting. Now these don't count for bosses and stuff. Like the bosses have their own music and stuff, so it'll play the boss music instead of the music you chose. But say if you're just fighting regular guys and stuff, it'll be the theme that you changed it to. I can't talk. So Dante's main one is Subhuman. So like you can change it to like Devil May Cry 1 music, Devil May Cry 3 music, his music from 4, stuff like that. Even 2, even Devil May Cry 2. It's really cool that they threw Devil May Cry 2 in there. It wasn't the best Devil May Cry game, and it's definitely not the most well received. It's actually one of the ones that a lot of people don't like, but it's still really good that they acknowledge it. A lot of developers and stuff will be like, "Oh, this game didn't do very good. Let's just ignore it. Let's pretend it doesn't exist." Capcom doesn't do that, and I like that. So they threw in songs from Devil May Cry 2. I'll admit that the music from Devil May Cry 2 was very good. That I did like. So they did that. But anyway, so for Vergil's DLC, like I was saying, they threw in a couple of extra songs. Now I don't know if you have to buy them separately. I hope not. I'm hoping it's not just $5.99 for Vergil alone, because that would be, yeah, I wouldn't like that very much. Let's just say that. I'm hoping it does come with the songs, because they're supposed to come with like something like 7 extra songs or something like that, or themes. Beowulf was one of them. The H&R Devils Never Cry version, that's gonna be pretty cool. What else? Vergil Battle 1 from Devil May Cry 3, that's another one. What else? Beowulf theme, that's pretty interesting, so he's gonna have that. And a couple other ones, I'm not exactly sure. Now the things that I don't really like, I'm gonna say right now, I used to be pretty excited for Vergil. When I heard he was coming, I was like, oh man, it's really cool. I do have, sorry about that, access to Devil May Cry 5 on the PC, and I played a bit of that. There is a mod where you can play as Vergil, and I have played as Vergil on the mod. So that was really cool. And he plays exactly like Devil May Cry 4 Vergil. Now, that's the one thing I was kind of worried about, because I'm like, well, like this is just a beta version, it's just a boss version. Someone ripped him out, made him playable. Which whoever did that, they did an absolutely amazing job. He was very stable. They did very, very, very good job. I had a lot of fun playing as Vergil. Now, looking at the official one, it looks pretty much the same. Now, I was seeing some videos today with Beowulf, because Beowulf is back as the weapon. Yamato, obviously, um, and a spectral version of the Fourth Edge. Now, that's pretty interesting because Fourth Edge doesn't exist anymore. And for those of you who don't follow Devil May Cry very much, or don't really know much about Devil May Cry, the Fourth Edge is Dante and Vergil's father's sword. It is Sparta's sword. That's his name. So with now there's two amulets that Sparta used to make the Fourth Edge into the Sparta sword. And for those of you who haven't seen it, it's really big, really long, and it's really powerful. So that's the thing. You need the Fourth Edge, and you need the two amulets. That was part of the main plot for Devil May Cry 3. Vergil really wanted Dante's amulet, but we'll talk about Devil May Cry 3 in another day. So, like I said, there's a spectral version of the Fourth Edge because it doesn't exist anymore. And the reason why I say it doesn't exist anymore, now this is going to be a bit of a spoiler, so hopefully you guys don't mind, and those of you who played the game, obviously doesn't matter. Dante obviously absorbed the Sparta. The Fourth Edge is the main base of the Sparta sword. So Sparta does not exist anymore. It's part of Devil Sword Dante. So there's a spectral version of the Fourth Edge, which makes me think, like, could he not have done that while he was in hell? Like, maybe that's what he did while he was in hell, while he was looking for Yamato. Maybe he was using a spectral version of the Fourth Edge. And the reason I say this is because Vergil's summon swords are all Fourth Edge. What's stopping him from having a summon sword and using it as a regular sword? So I think that's one thing we're going to be getting. It's going to be like a summon sword version kind of thing. Which, that's kind of cool in a way, but I was kind of hoping Vergil might get something different. Beowulf returning, it's cool. It's really cool that we get to see it in the Resident Evil engine, the Reach for the Moon engine. I always say Resident Evil engine because I'm used to Resident Evil with it. In the RE engine. So I'll definitely be able to do some screenshots with that. It's going to be cool to see a Beowulf in the new engine. But I was kind of hoping, because story-wise, Dante had the Beowulf gauntlets and stuff, and he sold them for money, because obviously he has to pay bills and everything. So that's why, if anybody wants to know why Dante doesn't have any of his previous weapons, it's because he sells them after he obtains them. So like Agni Rudra, he sold them. Nevin, he obviously sold Nevin. Stuff like that. So that's why he doesn't have them. But for for Beowulf, yeah, Vergil shouldn't have them. Now I know that Vergil's story isn't canon, which is kind of silly. I wish they kind of did their own thing with them, but they didn't bother. So the only thing that's going to be canon with Vergil on this DLC is going to be his starting video and his ending video, and that's it. Everything in between doesn't matter. Gameplay stuff doesn't matter. But just for continuality's sake, I probably said that wrong, but whatever. I was kind of hoping he'd have like Urizen gauntlets or something like that. That'd be really cool instead of Beowulf. Beowulf is cool. I do like it. I never really liked using it with Dante. Strangely enough, everybody loves it with Dante. I prefer it with Vergil. But yeah, kind of wish that they gave him like Urizen gauntlets because as his time as Urizen, he was doing melee moves like punching and kicking and all that stuff. So I thought it would be really cool. And there's like 3D art people have made online of Urizen gauntlets on Vergil, and it's really cool and it looks official, but it's not. It looks really cool, but instead they used Beowulf again, which was kind of disappointing. Um, all the moves, with the exception of a couple special attacks, they're all the same. Um, so all of Virgil's his Force Edge and Yamato, because he has them together, those attacks are the same. Because he has, so how it goes is you have obviously Yamato on its own, and he has all the combos and moves with that. He has the Force Edge slash Yamato, which uses both of them, and those combos look to be the same. I watched a video today of I think it was IGN or somebody playing, and all the combos look the same. um, all the Beowulf moves, they all look the same. There's a couple new ones, which are pretty cool. There's one they brought back from Devil May Cry 3, which a friend of mine showed me earlier today, and I was like, what the hell is the explosion? If anybody who played Devil May Cry 3 remembers the second Vergil fight, this is just after Vergil obtains Beowulf. Because he gets Beowulf first, and then things go down story-wise, and Dante gets them from him. But, so he just gets Beowulf, and you fight him with that, and there's a move where like a glassy orb goes around him, and he says, "Rest in peace." And he kind of goes like this, and there's like a psh, kind of like a energy explosion kind of thing. That's one of the moves. I didn't know that, so that's pretty cool that they brought back that move from number 3. So that's a new one. That was pretty cool. There's a new punching move now. Some of these moves are Sin Devil Trigger only because they're like special moves. So I assume that the Devil May Cry 3 move is going to be a Sin Trigger only because I think he was in Sin Trigger when I watched the video. I can't remember. There's another one. Apparently, I haven't seen it yet, but apparently, Vergil can do the spinning spiral move of Vortex. That's what it's called. Well, that's what it's called. Devil May Cry 1. So Vergil can do the Vortex move that Dante can do in Devil May Cry 1 and 5. Devil May Cry 1, he needed Alistair to do it. Devil May Cry 5, Dante can do it again, but he needs Sin Trigger. So that's pretty cool. Apparently, there is a new punching move Vergil can do. The video I watched, it wasn't very clear on it. I saw some move that looked a bit different, but he was fighting Nidhogg, and I guess didn't see it very well. But overall, I mean, it looks cool. It's just, obviously, it's pretty cool we're getting Vergil back. I will be getting it in December for sure. And I'll probably do a stream, a live stream, when he comes out. And I'm going to do a blind. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in, I'm going to buy them, download them, go into the game store, buy all those moves and stuff. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a live stream of Bloody Palace. That's another thing I had an issue with. Not really an issue, but kind of not worried, but kind of, I guess, at the same time, if that makes any sense at all. So, in Bloody Palace and Devil May Cry 4, Vergil, if you knew how to use him properly and you were very, very good with him, he was near unstoppable. It doesn't take long to get very far with Vergil on Bloody Palace number 4. There's been a few times where I've gotten really, really far with him. I beat Bloody Palace once or twice with him. I think once. I can't remember. It's been a while. I don't usually play it all the way through because it takes about an hour, maybe an hour and a half to get through the whole thing, and I don't know. I just play it for fun. Um, but yeah, like if you know how to play him properly, you can just fly through it like it's nothing. Now that's my issue with Vergil on 5. If he plays so much like 4, right? Like people are just gonna like just plow right through it. Like yeah, you have these new moves and stuff, but like other than that, it's gonna be like, if you make him so similar, people are gonna know how to use him instantly, and then boom, just fly right through the game, or a Bloody Palace or whatever it is. Um, so like, obviously I'm not gonna brag or anything like that. I'm pretty good at Devil May Cry. I'm not the greatest, I'm not the best or anything. um, but I'm very good at playing as Vergil. So like when I do Bloody Palace, I don't want to fly through it and be like, oh, I'm done. I may not beat it on the first go. I probably won't. I'm gonna say I'll probably get to about maybe level 50 or so, maybe a bit more. But I mean, like, I think Vergil, I think Vergil's gonna be easy mode even on the harder difficulties, and not that that's ultimately a terrible thing, but they should make him a bit more technical, I guess. Um, because I mean, well, Dante's pretty technical, and I used to have an issue with doing all the styles and stuff. A long time ago, I only used to stick to one style. I mean, a long time ago, you could only use one style in Devil May Cry 3. um, but even on Devil May Cry 4, I would only stick to one style. Or I would only use like one or two. But I find myself now on 5 that I can use every style efficiently, which is really nice. Um, but with Vergil only having the one style, the Dark Slayer style, now I wonder if you'll have to upgrade the style or just his weapons. I wonder how that's going to work. We'll just have to see how that works out. I'm not too sure exactly what else to say, to be honest, other than I was super, super excited to get him. I'm like, oh man, Vergil's coming, it's really cool, it's really cool. But now, after seeing it, it's like, yeah, I'm still excited to get him. It's still like, oh, it's cool, we get to play Vergil, but it's not like, oh man, we get to play Vergil. Because now that I've seen everything, it's basically playing Devil May Cry 4 Vergil, just with another coat of paint, a bit more shinier, and smoother gameplay. Which that's not super terrible either, but I was kind of hoping that it's going to be a little bit different. Another thing too, I was thinking about is I wonder if the X color for Boss Vergil is going to work on the player version of Vergil, because I know you had to unlock them by beating certain modes or doing certain things. Now I wonder how that's going to work for Vergil. Since if you already have the X color unlocked for Vergil, but for the boss version of Vergil, I wonder, like I said, if that'll work on the player version, or if you'll have to re-beat the game and do certain things to get them. Another thing I want to know too, and it's funny, I know I just said, oh, I don't know what else to say, but things I don't write a script when I do these things. I'm gonna be honest. I just like talking and stuff. So, another thing I was thinking about too, I wonder what his Bloody Palace taunt's going to be when you beat Bloody Palace. One thing I really, really hope it's going to be is I hope he puts his hair down. That would be really cool. Because if you beat Bloody Palace with Dante, Dante's special taunt is to put his hair back. Because he goes, what you lack is this, and he puts his hair back, and it's like a heart for loving humanity, and he puts his hair back, and then he goes aside like that, and it's the coolest thing. So I hope that Vergil has like the opposite, and I hope that like he puts his hair down or something. It's just really really interesting. I really hope that you know that. They also have like an X provocation. I don't even know how to say it. There's two special taunts, and they're all like dancing ones. So I want to know what Vergil is going to be. Um, Dante's is interesting. V's is like a cane dance thing. Um, and Nero's is more like a hip hop kind of thing, which is kind of funny. But I wonder what Vergil's is going to be. That's going to be interesting. So, yeah, other than that, I don't know what else to say. This episode is pretty long because I haven't done an episode in a long time. Almost like 40 minutes, well, 35 minutes. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that fun kind of stuff. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video.